Alright, the rules were simple. The rules stated the final day of Season 1 Modded Warfare was going to be a free-for-all. No declaring, no nothing. You could attack whoever you want, whenever you wanted. This is the beginning of that, starting off with Brad's base.
Another way to begin the story would be to start from the end. There's nothing left of the dream I persisted. No way to go back again. I want you to save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. But won't you tear me down and build me up again? Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. We don't belong together, so I bother. When I surrender to being useless, I am unable to breathe. I can't make out what is real or fancy. No waking up from this dream. I want you to save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Or won't you tear me down and build me up again? Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. We don't belong together, so I bother.
Next on the list is FS and his base. Unfortunately, he was offline at the time, but we couldn't wait for him to come on because he did not come on until later. So this is one of two. The second one will come later in the episode. Enjoy. As promised, part 2 of FS's base. This time he was actually online. We didn't know if he was there or not, but come to find out, he clearly was. So after taking a quick break, going to Ozzy's base, and LeBon coming online at this point in time, Tom, LeBon, and I decided to come on in here and come back to FS's base. Right as we flew in a second ago, you would have seen it said FS came online. That was when we knew we'd have a fight. The base was pretty much blown up at that point. We weren't sure if he blew it up more or that was just all the damage that we caused because we died while we were down there. He notices us right here, as you can see. He makes a comment in the left-hand corner about us already being here. Get turned around a little bit here, but overall, find our way down in a second down the ladder. The bottom of the ladder was actually FS. I didn't have a gun because my body and everything with it was down there for the most part, other than some of the stuff I got from Ozzy's base. So Tom and LeBon engaged while I stayed up, essentially doing that back and forth. They were lobbing nades, FS towards us, us towards them, back down. I had grenades, that's about all I had, but they also exchanged fire throughout the entire time. Here in a second, FS will actually, I think it says he blew himself up, which ended the firefight right there. We had already destroyed his bed earlier in the day, so he couldn't spawn there. He had to spawn back at spawn, which was at least 1,000 or so blocks away. And I don't think he had a heli on him, so he couldn't get back anytime soon. So we kind of were free at that point to raid whatever we wanted and look for his egg, which is the item that we needed to technically win the season. Right there, FS actually blew himself up. I'm not sure if he blew up or it was the stuff that we threw, but either way, at that point, the base was at our will. But as you can see, the base was already completely obliterated. This was a full, perfect base prior to us being in here earlier. Now, a lot of this damage happened from the nuclear explosion that killed Tom and I earlier. But I look around for a long time. This is all sped up, but I looked around. So did Tom and LeBon, looking for the egg. We went in every crevice looking for it. We didn't end up actually ever finding it. This was a very short and sweet, tiny second half to the raid. It was over almost as soon as it began. We did find our bodies, but FS had taken a substantial amount of the items before that had occurred anyways. Next base was Ozzy's base. This was a team that was a little less active towards the end of the season, but had a strong beginning, strong middle. We ended up Sherbidium missiling the center of the base and a cluster missile around it, and then nulled in. We kind of mulled around trying to see what was in here, got to the bottom really easily. Not a whole lot to mention because it was the very end of the season, so there wasn't a ton for us to really raid anyways. This was more for fun. As mentioned before, the thing that we were looking for all along was the egg, which is the team item that every team had, or every team should have had, that was essentially what you were to protect. And so that was the goal of everyone, was to protect that egg specifically. And it is that egg that we ended up finding behind 2 double doors towards the tail end of this. And that caused us to win the day and solidify win the season, solidify the win. And we did end up winning the season with 2 eggs in our possession, 2 or 3. We would have had 4 plus, but some teams were missing eggs when they were rated early on, so that caused us to win the season. You can see right now the double doors being blown into. At this point, we did not know that there was any egg in this base even, because you can have 2 bases per team. But as soon as I open it up, boom, there it was. And that is essentially the end for the season for us, because we knew we had won at that point in time, even if we had found no other eggs for the rest of the day. So it was a huge win for all, to say the least. And then we got out of there. and enjoyed the rest of the day for the most part. just having fun, blowing stuff up, and playing with some good friends. Alright, this next clip is simply for some fun. The game was over at that point. The season was over. So gave us all fly, and we launched a ton of missiles at our own base for the heck of it. Funny thing is our base survived at the very end, even with throwing 30 Sherbidium missiles at it and other missiles as well. Still survived.